Hey, I'm here to show you how I quilt this quilt. So basically what I do, this is actually my sister. She made this quilt. It's a Lone Star quilt or Texas Star quilt, whatever you want to call it. She made this for me about 15 years ago, and it's kind of been hanging up on the rack, just waiting to be quilted. And I just keep on shoving it back towards the back. So I finally decided I need to quilt this. So it's on my machine right now, and I have done some quilting. And what she doesn't know, though, is that she made this for me, and I'm going to be giving it to her once I quilt it. So I'm going to go, let's go to this camera here, and this is the quilt right here. Very beautiful. She did a great job on this. There is a little bit of fullness in some of the areas, but nothing that I can't deal with. So I'm going to be quilting this. So now I'm going to roll this because I actually want to work on a couple of borders. So let's get there. So I'm going to roll the quilt. I'm going to roll it. Oh, I just want to say one other thing too, is how I work is I will stitch in the ditch. I stitched in the ditch in every area of this quilt, from top to bottom, and I was able to stabilize it. So once it is stabilized, stitched from top to bottom, then I can move this quilt back and forth, and I can choose and pick wherever I want to quilt. So right now I want to quilt this area right here. So we have two borders here, and I'm going to kill two birds with one stone, although I'm not going to kill two birds. I'm just going to quilt two areas here at the same time. So let me get that going. You always want to make sure also that your quilt is not real tight. You want it kind of loose. You want to be able to stick your finger up under here and grab. You want to be able to grab at least your fingernail when you do that. You don't want it so tight that you can bounce a quarter off of it. Another thing you want to do when you are quilting is you want to always allow yourself enough backing. So this is my backing right here. This is my batting. And you want to allow yourself enough of that to be able to clamp. You always want to clamp your quilt when you're stitching. So I have, these are my clamps right here. This is my clamp to my machine. But I have my ruler base on because on this particular quilt I use my ruler, and I also do free motion, and I don't take my ruler base off when I'm doing free motion because there may be a time in the quilt where I need to do rulers again, so I just leave it on. So I just use this little piece of fabric here. It's quilted, and I just pin it right to the end of my quilt top. And that allows for my clamps to be out of the way of my ruler base. So if my ruler base hits my clamps, or even if I have my ruler base off and my my machine runs into my clamps, it can cause some unevenness when you're quilting. So that's why I do that, and I do that on both sides of the quilt, not meaning to make you dizzy here while I move the machine. So I'm going to go over to the other side, and I'm going to clamp this side here, and I just use some pins and just clamp. I'm sorry, I don't clamp. I just pin it. And I have two clamps on each side. And so now my clamps are completely out of my way as I'm at the edge of the quilt here, and it allows me to do my quilting without interfering with the clamps. All right, I'm going to come back over here, and like I said, I'm going to stitch both of these areas at the same time. I'm going to put feathers in these areas, and I don't want to make my feathers go consistently all the way around the quilt in one direction. I want this to go different directions. I want the feathers to go to the right, and I want them to go to the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of thread over here on this side. I'm just going to take a piece of thread and I'm going to cut it. And I'm just going to lay it across. Now you can use a marking tool if you want to. And I'm just going to lay it across from this point here to this point here. And I'm not going to go beyond that area. And I'm going to do the same to the other side. Just take a piece of thread. This allows me not to go past this point. Okay? Now, with that done, now I'm in the center right here. This is my center. My sister, when she made this quilt, she lined her seams up right in the center, and I know that from the center of the quilt because it is a Lone Star. And this is where I'm going to start, is right here. So what I'm going to do is, and I've already stitched in the ditch right here, here, and here. And so this line right here between the two different fabrics is going to be my stem for my feathers. Okay, I'm going to run over and I'm going to get another ruler real quick. And I can't find it, so much for that. All right, so we're going to make a teardrop. So we're going to come up and make a teardrop here, and we're going to make a teardrop down here. So it's going to be kind of like a figure 8. So here we go, a figure 8. Get this out of the way, and then we're going to come down and make another figure 8. Okay, so we have a teardrop on this one and a teardrop on this one up here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build my feathers off of these. And I think I'll go to this side first. So I'm going to just bring my feather, and what I'm doing is I'm filling in the space. So. Okay, I should have clipped that. Okay, this border here is a little bit wider than this one. It's okay. Come up and around. And then do this one. So what I'm doing actually is I'm doing 2 feathers on each border at a time. One and 2. One and 2. Now this border is a little bit ahead of this one, and that's okay. So maybe sometimes I might put 4 on this side. So I have to travel down, come up, out, and around. And back down. Now I have to say that when I first started quilting 20 years ago, I had a really hard time with with feathers. But as you practice your feathers, it gets easier and easier. So that's the main thing. You have to practice. Up, 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 up. Fill the space. Now with these two fabrics, you have a light fabric here and a little bit darker here, so you're really going to see the feathers in this section, and this one's going to kind of fade out, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. So out and around. Get the other side. And so each one of these borders, they're on 4 sides of the quilt. And I'm going to do them all the same way, starting from the center, working my way out to the edge of the border. Whenever you have borders like this, multiple borders, this is a good way to get it finished. Get 2 borders finished at the same time. I'm going to go and do this one again. So I've got 4 feathers on this side. Another thing I want to talk about when making feathers is you always want to, when you're coming back down from your feathers, you want to come down from an angle so that they look like they're growing out from the stem, which is the seam in this case. It's okay to use a seam as your stem. So when I come back around this one here, if I was to stop right here and then build my next feather out, it would look just a little bit funny. So I'm going to travel down my seam a little bit, or stem, whatever you want to call it, and then come out and around. So getting this finished is kind of a quick process. May not seem like it. Take your time, especially when you're backtracking. Backtracking is not easy. As a beginner, or even sometimes as a more advanced quilter. So whenever I backtrack, I always try to slow down just a little bit, just to make it. And backtracking is getting from one point of the design to another by stitching on top of existing stitches. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. And again, this is filling in the space and getting those 2 borders quilted. Okay, now I have my plumb line, my thread right here, and it will probably end up moving on me, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. It doesn't have to be perfect, so I'm going to come down here, make my first feather there, right up against my plumb line, Come up, out, and around. And we're going to come out and around to my plumb line, which is my thread, just a little piece of thread, and back around. We're going to travel down, and now we've got a plumb line on this side of the border. This one's going to go a little bit further. And there it is. So when I'm right here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop right here. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to come around this way and come back down. So I passed my plumb line, but that gives me an ending for when I do the opposite border. So when, not opposite, but the side border. So on these two borders right here coming down on the side, I will go to the center of the quilt, make my teardrops on both sides of the border, and I'll work my way up to this right here. And then I will do that on all four sides, and it will look great. And don't forget to travel just a bit and lock those stitches in. Pull your bobbin thread up and clip right to the surface. And there you have it. There is two borders quilted at the same time. Now I need to go over to the opposite side and do that and the other three borders.